What up, gang? It's your boy Billy coming back at you today with a topic that I think you all are going to find a little bit of informative. This is going to be a little bit of a shorter video, and I want to talk about one topic specifically, and that is what happens to my slingshot when I do a full wheel conversion. Now, as some of you know, we've got a particular person on our forums, Grant, who decided to go all out and drive down and drop his slingshot off at Track Hammer and get the four-wheel conversion done. And I personally love it. I think it looks great. There are a lot of folks that don't like it, and that's okay. You know what? It's the great thing about the slingshots are that you can personalize it and customize it and make it your own. You can do an LS swap, you can put four wheels on it, you can add what lights you want to it, and you can make it yours. And that's what's great, and that's what Grant has done. And so I personally am looking forward to seeing it at Slingshot in the Rockies. Those of you who are looking to register, I suggest you do so now. I will put the link down in the description so you guys can see that and get registered. Come out, support the vendors, support us so they can come back and see us again next year. Remember, if you like the video, like, subscribe. Please, it helps me out to bring you guys some pretty awesome content. But today we're going to talk specifically about four-wheel conversion and what that does for your slingshot. Now, I've read the comments. I've had some discussions back and forth with some people. So let me explain how the process works and what you can get in trouble for and what you can't get in trouble for. Obviously, the things you can get in trouble for are taillights out, speeding, reckless driving, doing donuts, improper backing. Those are all things that you can get cited for by law enforcement. What you can't get cited for are things like adding a fourth wheel. Now, before you guys go crazy, understand I'm going to explain why you can't get in trouble for adding a fourth wheel. So it's the same with any state. In order for a vehicle to be registered, they have to have the title and title information, not necessarily the title itself, because you're financing it, you won't, but you have to have information from the dealer and title information to provide to your local state's DMV or Department of Revenue or whatever you guys call it in order for it to be registered. And how that's registered and how it's determined to be registered is based on the VIN and the classification of the machine that you are registering. So, for instance, my 2017 Kia that I have, bring the title down, bring the information from the dealer, gets sent over to DMV. They look at the VIN and they say, okay, this is a gas motor. This is got four wheels. May or may not say four-wheel drive. Certain states don't register certain specifics, but it all gets captured under the VIN. Okay, and then I get plates issued to my car. Now, in my state, in Colorado, I have two different types of plates. I have a standard automobile plate, which is larger, standard, size everywhere in the country. And then I have a motorcycle plate, which most states, not all, but most states do have a smaller motorcycle license plate that gets put on, and that's what the Slingshot gets. So even though in Colorado you can register it as an autocycle, okay, and I want to talk a little bit about autocycle in a minute, but even though you may register it as an autocycle, you're still going to get motorcycle plates for the purposes of registration because Polaris says this is a motorcycle. Okay, NHTSA, they don't do testing on motorcycles like they do vehicles. Motorcycles are exempt from certain safety requirements, and this is, for all intents and purposes, a motorcycle. Okay, so as you go through this, remember that by simply adding a fourth wheel, you say, well, it's no longer a motorcycle. It's not an autocycle because autocycles have three wheels, a steering wheel, and two seats, right? It doesn't matter, and this is why it doesn't matter. Because when you register, the DMV is going to go off of the VIN that is provided on the unit. They have to. They have to. If you get stopped by law enforcement, the VIN has to match the registration. and neither you nor I can change the classification of what is on the VIN. So Polaris, the manufacturer of this unit, says it's a motorcycle. If I add a fourth wheel, I can't then go back and go, hey, DMV, this isn't a motorcycle anymore, this is a car, because I added a fourth wheel. They don't care. They care about what is assigned to the VIN from the manufacturer. So let's talk about enforcement for a minute. So if I'm cruising down the street and I get stopped, their police are going to say, wait a minute, this thing's only supposed to have 3 wheels, but yet it's got 4. Okay. Well, it's not an autocycle. Okay, well, it's a motorcycle classified by VIN, regardless of what modifications I do to it. The law enforcement, both local and state, the two people that enforce motor vehicle laws in all 50 states, do not have the authority at all to then cite you for being outside of the classification listed on the VIN. That is a federal standard. Local and state law enforcement cannot enforce federal guidelines, NHTSA standards. The only people that can enforce federal laws pertain to motor carrier, commercial motor vehicles, in which case they can enforce federal laws as it pertains to commerce going up and down the interstate and the roadways, because they fall under its own guideline. But if you and I get stopped, because they can't legally stop you for that, okay? So if you get stopped for speeding, and they get stopped for a blinker, or whatever the case may be, and they question you about it, sure, yeah, I added a fourth wheel. It doesn't matter. It absolutely doesn't matter. And the reason it doesn't matter is because neither you nor I can change the classification on what the Slingshot is. Now, you ask me, what gives you, why should I listen to you? Well, here's why you should listen to me.
That's the sound of the police. That's the sound of the beast. That's the sound of the police.
16 years of law enforcement and counting. I have been a law enforcement officer, both a state trooper and a deputy in 2 different states for the past 16 years. And I am well versed on what guidelines work for particularly those 2 states, but those apply to any other state for the very reasons that I outlined. So those of you who panic and go, oh, well, it's no longer a motorcycle, it's no longer an autocycle, you can't do that. You can. Nobody can change that. Again, neither you nor I can change that. The DMV can't even change it. They will continue to re-register the Slingshot, 3 wheels or 4 wheels, as an autocycle. And as long as it's registered as an autocycle, no law enforcement officer can rate you. There's no statute that I'm aware of that would allow them to do that in any state. So what it comes down to it is, if you want to add the 4th wheel, add the 4th wheel. Go have fun. Whether you like it, whether you don't like it, that's okay. I like it, and if I had the money, I'd probably do it too. So Grant, to everyone else who has made the conversion, have at it. And I can't wait to see it in a couple of weeks and what it looks like. And I'm going to bring you guys a video kind of outlining the new Slingshot, the quad Slingshot, and what it looks like a little bit closer, and hopefully give you guys some more information. So I hope that answers some questions. Again, if you don't agree with me, I'm open to discussion with you. I certainly am. Please leave some comments down in this video. Feel free to reach out to me on Facebook, whatever the case is, and I'll be more than happy to have that discussion with you. But I think, or at least I hope I've answered these questions for you enough to where you feel comfortable adding the 4th wheel if that's what you choose to do, or understanding why you're not going to get in trouble if if that's what you do. So, guys, I hope you have a great weekend coming up. Always, I have a lot of fun making these videos for you, and we will talk to you very soon. So take care.